We are live. Welcome back. Kane's Corner. We have a special guest. He's the boss of the Menners Minifan Network. You all know him, Menners. I heard your name. Your last name was Mincel. I don't know. That was kind of
Uh,
odd, but
it's not that. It's
I know.
mental.
I know.
Um,
But hey, listen, we got some big news today. I'm so excited to be able to be part of what Menners is going to talk about. I got a few questions for him, and I guess we'll let him kind of tell the story here. You coming to America, Menners. I
well,
saw you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
well. Firstly, thanks for having me on your show. And we are the two major content creators on this network, and we don't do much together, which is obviously on purpose because
Sure.
we need to split up our resources to keep the network going. But just my internet's been a bit patchy for those tuning in, so I've decided to go with the camera off because it'll be just much better for you. You'll be able to actually hear what I'm saying. So there, I've got a nice Trump wig on in the photo. So I've tried to, appease all you right-wing lunatics by changing the photo
Oh.
for this appearance. And we can all agree I look terrible in that photo. So
So I wanted to ask you: do you have something that I last time I went on with you, Kirk is still talking about how bad that was. Is there something you kind of have prepared you want to talk, or you just want to
no, it's
just
your
talk?
show. So
That's
so
cool.
it's
Yeah, I'm
your
asking
show.
you. I mean, it's fine if you want to give the
Okay.
whole lowdown, or
Yeah, we'll
you
have a
know,
chat. But
sure.
basically, the reason is, the show called me the other night. It was very late here. I was asleep in bed, and so I thought, it'd be a good opportunity to. I haven't been on Kane's Corner yet. I've always wanted to be on. I'm a huge fan of the show,
Nice.
so it's a real honor to be here. I we'll get to it later, but you handed in an episode this week, which I don't feel comfortable airing, so I kind of feel a
Sure.
bit guilty about that. So
No,
I
I don't
thought,
feel
well,
guilty. Don't
it
worry
would
about it.
work well for me to just jump on and
I
talk to
trust
you.
your judgment, honestly, Manners. Like I wasn't that happy about it either.
Mm.
So I trust you, and I think it's the right move, and that's it. I'm going to put out 4 episodes this week, and I know the Drips is struggling to put out one, but listen, we're going to keep grinding here. We're going to keep going. We're not going to take. You have a bad episode, you don't sit around and cry about it. You just try to put
No,
out
no,
something
no.
better.
I'd love to talk to you about Kane's Corner a bit later on in this chat, but
Sure.
it is, your show. So yeah, fire away.
So I guess the first question. Well, we don't pull any punches here on Kane's Corner. So, are
Yes.
you? That's a stupid question, but are you going to look to live in the Boston area? I guess that's the first question
Okay,
for
so,
me.
so this is a good question. So I guess basically this is a philosophical question.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of, I'm so happy at the moment. I'm so comfortable. I mean, people that haven't been to Sydney or lived in Sydney, it's a great city. I mean, I'm 15 minutes from my studio. I'm actually 10 sometimes. I'm 10 minutes from the beach. I'm 10 seconds from the harbour. It's just, I sort of project forward and I look into, and I can just see 10 years just drifting away and being so comfortable and doing what I'm doing. And I just don't know if that's, I want more out of life, Kane. Like, I don't want to get to that stage and think, oh, like I don't feel comfortable being happy like this. Like, I think I need to, you know, put myself in a situation that maybe pushes me a bit harder. I don't want to like fade into old age like some people do. I want to hit the finish line and, one day it's all going to come to an end. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was a more philosophical thing. And, you probably understand this because, you've had a really rich life filled with ups and downs.
That's for sure. So I guess but is it going to be the Boston area? Are you looking to move near? I mean, in
Well,
New
it would
England.
be hard to produce KMS from anywhere else. So,
Oh, okay.
um,
So I guess
you
that'll be
know,
the next question. Are you going right for
uh,
Dave's throat? I mean, you've been
well,
hard on him. You've been busting his ball. It looks like
mm,
it's been ramping up. So
yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
let's talk about time and stuff. I
sure.
mean, I put out next autumn. That probably wasn't the most sensible time to put out there because I forgot how fucking bad um, Boston winters are. So I don't know. Maybe it's better to wait till end of winter. I don't know. Maybe I move next year, in spring, because how long is Cullinane going to last? I mean, he puts out some wild video today, so he spends hours and hours with Nurse Kim. He
It's
is so
crazy.
invested in that stuff, which is fine. I'm all for it, and in fact. Montante said that Cullinane's not being paid that much. He's more a part-time role. So, the onus here is on Justin to be the lead producer and not let Cullinane walk all over him. And so maybe there's room for Cullinane to do this stuff, but it's a terrible look because he hasn't given one second thought to the Amazing Race show that Kirk wants to do.
I'm still, again, like, I guess from my point of view is like, I think somebody like you in the booth makes the show better. I think they need somebody like you. So I guess like you coming to America, I just figured
Yeah,
I
I don't
hope
think it'd be that. I don't think it'd be that good. Wouldn't be that
yeah.
good. I'm not like
No,
the only thing I do have, which is frustrating, is nobody has nobody has a shred of like their own thought in that
it's true.
studio anymore. Like no one will argue with Kirk. No one takes him up on any of his takes. They all just go along with everything. It's become that is pretty piss poor like content when it's just everybody thinking the same in the room. Like when Kirk was at his best, it was with Jerry because they used to think differently.
Sure. Jerry would go at him, and it doesn't exist. I think the
No.
best for Kirk is the producer that's going to get the most out of him. So I mean,
Mm.
is that your plan? Is to
Yeah. Me and Justin would be a great team because Justin's the big guy. I'd find a role for Cullinane. Absolutely, I'd find a role for him because I think you could expand the true crime stuff. I think in big pictures. So, he seems to have really made a name for himself. Like I was on TikTok and just I forgot he was on TikTok. He's got like 100K followers on there now. Like he's
sure.
doing well. Just go on.
I mean, if you really care about the show, though, it's not what you want from your producer. That's all I'm saying. It's like it's in need now of somebody. Like I thought when you were moving here, that was your goal, was to get on that show and produce. Is that your goal?
Yeah.
What else about America is
I
bringing
mean,
you here? But what else are you interested
well,
in? What's the big change? It's a big change, man.
it's not that easy because you need like visas and
Yeah,
you can't just do it. So there's a lot of water to go under the bridge before this can happen. I told you it's a philosophical choice about how I want to live my life and get the most out of it. And living in different countries is I've lived in Europe twice, so I've experienced that, and it's just I can just see like 10 years just drifting away,
yeah.
and which is fine. Like like there's nothing wrong with happiness, but yeah.
So you're not 100% sold yet on coming to America. So it's not
No, no.
100% official yet.
Well, I mean,
There's a lot to, and I understand there's a lot to,
well, I
like, into
can't.
your
Well,
mind.
do you realize I can't just come? Like I'm not.
No, I know that.
Like
Yeah.
I can't just come and start working there. Like it's.
No, what I'm
You need.
saying is, like, as long as that all goes right, everything goes good with that, you're definitely coming.
Oh, if the cards fall, baby, you are gonna have me on your couch before you can.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
Don't you worry about that.
We're gonna have I want to be the one to pick you up from the airport, roll out the red carpet, everything. We got to get you here, but
I just made it sort of it was a choice about at some point you got to leap.
Have you talked to your family about it? Just have you brought it up? I know you got a daughter there, right?
No. It'll happen. Kane, come on. Why would you tell people you've had a thought?
That's true.
Hasn't happened yet. Hasn't happened yet.
So you're hoping this fall. You want to produce a show. Any you got any ideas of anything that you want to do different if you got on that show? Is there anything that stands out?
I'm not going to get into that because they'll just take all my ideas. I've done enough of that. I've done enough of that. I'm really happy where the show is. I'm I've got to say to you, like, I'm finding Cullinane's return really difficult
Sure.
because, it's almost like post-traumatic stress disorder. Like, we had that pot period with him. I felt it was over and we could all move on. And I was feeling really good about that. Like, he'd gone, he was in the past. And now he's back and we have to sort of suffer through it. He just brings up boring stories that only he's interested in. As Kirk said, hyper local, just stuff he wants to talk about. Um, Coleman had much better instincts when he was switched on, definitely. And the show is just mid with Cullinane. It's just mid. And have you noticed Justin's just faded away since
Definitely.
Cullinane's been back?
Dave's back to his old tricks. They don't come prepared enough. They're back to him. Kirk an hour into the show, they got nothing. It's a huge. To me, it's becoming a stain on the show. I mean, honestly, like those guys need to be better prepared. They're not getting the most out of Kirk. It's showing. Say what you want about Coleman, but he had a lot of material. I'm starting to realize how prepared he actually was. He was terrible on the stream the other day. That was very odd, but um, yeah, it's glaring. I don't know. I enjoyed the calls on Friday. I thought they were great. But Kirk's going like, hey, we're just going to start taking calls so we have no other topics. And at that point, it's like, well, is this what we really want for the show? Is this type of production? I mean, I don't. I want it to be a lot more. So I'm very
Mm.
down on Cullinane. He hasn't really. He's exactly what he was when he left. It's the same exact shit. So
Yeah.
I think
It's just hard when I felt like we'd escaped his clutches, and now
yeah,
now we're back, and it's not even the show's bad, honestly, because I don't want to get into this. The
no,
show's
no,
fucked, blah blah. It's just fine. Like as I said, it's averaging, 5 or 6 out of 10 every show, and it's entertaining. They have a few giggles, um, but it's just it's maddening that Kirk would give Cullinane a second chance. And what it's done to Justin is he's just slipped back into his old role. He just sits there quietly, tries his little bits. I would actually like to see if Justin is being paid more, then you take the fucking lead. Tell Cullinane to turn his mic off for a while because he can't stop fucking yapping. I mean, this
yeah.
is all a fucking Cullinane ego project. And it's just very frustrating.
Yeah, it's been it's getting I think it's getting worse. It's kind of going back down and you know, it's sad. It's sad. I think Kirk is kind of I don't want to say checked out, but he doesn't look as enthusiastic to go in there like he was, and it's going, you know, still a
I
great
don't think
show. I
Kirk's
mean,
checked out. I don't think Kirk's
I don't
checked
know.
out. I do think he's happy having a lighter, fun show that, he, for some reason, he's happy not to be pushed or challenged on any
That's what it
opinions.
shows. You're right. That's what I'm kind of worried about. I think that's why he's trying to go off and be a crime
Yeah, and
stopper
that would,
because,
yeah. Yeah,
it's
well,
like
if you looked
why.
in the booth and saw Justin and fucking Cullinane, you would be thinking, what else can I do?
So yeah, I mean, well, okay. So looking to come to Boston area. We're excited about that. Obviously, there's a lot to get
I just
to.
want to take America by storm. Obviously, it
Yeah,
would be
no,
good
I
because I'd
do.
be closer to Mayo to work on his show. Um, I could still do my cricket podcast. There is, but I would be, having a good time.
Look, we're all looking forward to it. I mean, I would love to see you in there more and more part of
Do
the
you think
show. I mean,
Amazing Race will happen?
I hate to be like this, and I'm such a negative person sometimes, but I just think the 5 day thing just seems unrealistic. I mean, I didn't understand that part of it. There's a lot of driving. We're talking about people with no GPS, stupid people.
Mm,
I just don't know how they get this done in 5 days. You're asking people, we're asking the drips to come. They can't even put out a show. They're going to be able to take
mm,
5 days away from their families. I just think there's going to be a lot of that. And when it all boils down, I don't think it's going to be as many people. I think it'll be, I mean, if they can pull it off, it'll be great because it'll be good content. I don't have high hopes for it. I think it's a great idea. I would love to see it happen. I just think a lot of people are going to say they're going to do it and they're going to back out, and that's just how I feel. But I hope it materializes. But I don't know. I'm not totally confident that it's going to happen. How do you feel about him?
Well, I mean, I'm in on it, so I want it to happen. I mean, I'm going to come over for it if it happens.
Yeah.
So that'll be my initial. I'm you thinking that'll be a great way to scout out,
Mm-hmm.
just the scene before coming over. So I hope it happens. I do think maybe they'll end up having to just find like they'll just have to find who's available. Like it won't.
That's
You
it.
say it won't be. Yeah, there's no way. There's just no way. Pat Ford and Johnny Wyatt are
No.
doing. I mean,
No
you can.
chance.
And
No
Mayo
chance.
as well, as if he's
No.
Mayo's going to do it.
No
He'll have
chance.
a panic attack between now and then and pull
Mayo
out for
can't even.
sure.
He can't even listen to. I mean, what is wrong with that guy anyway? What's going on with him? He bounces back and forth. Now the other day he's admitting he doesn't watch it. He's on a break. I like your tweet to him that says like good or bad, we're listening. And it's kind of what we do. We love the show. We listen to it. I don't know what is going on with this guy in general. I mean, I don't know him enough to know. He said he's going to come on the show, 3-Up. He's like, yeah, come on. Next week, he's like, fuck you. And it's like, Jesus, dude, you're like bipolar or something, man. You're just all over the place. I don't know what's going on with the guy.
I mean, I love Mayo. He probably is
do.
like bipolar or fucking lunatic.
Something's going on.
I hate that. I'm going to come on. I'm not going to come on. I hate that stuff. Just come on. What I don't like. Well, sorry. What annoys me is if you want to take a break for your mental health, do it for sure. Do it like anyone. Don't listen for a couple of weeks. Stay off Twitter. Very good for you. But when you like pop back in, don't like wave your arms and say, "Hey, I'm back. Look what I missed." Like, just make a quiet entry back in. We don't, there doesn't need to be any fanfare. Oh, okay, Mayo, you didn't see this. Great. Like, you just take it easy.
Yeah, very sensitive guy. I don't know. He gets on my nerves. I got to be honest. I like the guy, but he just like I can't figure him out. It's like it's not. I don't understand like the back and forth. I mean, it's not. He's hardly around anyway. He puts out his stuff. I mean, just I don't know.
I love Mayo. As I said, he should just if he wants to have a break, keep quiet. If you dip back in, don't say, "Oh, look what I missed," and then expect everybody to rally around you and not give you shit for not listening.
So, what's your opinion on the? I mean, for me, like the third chair thing now. Dave's back to his old bag of tricks too. We're just bringing in random people we don't know. I mean, I guess there is a place for it. I guess you want to bring people and see what happens, but you think they should just kind of stick to the rotation they've been using and just keep running with it? Because I mean, bringing random people in. Kind of, if you have 3 shows a week, one of those shows is somebody that's doesn't talk. It kind of you don't know, and you don't even see them on. I mean, maybe these guys should be on some kind of network show to see what they can do first. They're just bringing them in without.
Yeah, you should offer to vet them. You should offer to vet them for Cullinane. Like
I would
come
do it.
On Kane's Corner.
Bring them in. Definitely. I don't understand like why. And some of these people, like that other guy he brought on the other day. I can't even think of his name right now.
Like instead of interviewing like random people from Warren that have nothing to do with this channel or no one has any interest in, you can interview random Minifans.
I would do that. Definitely. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll bring in some random Minifans and get them on here. But it just seems like those guys never want to come on. And then obviously they have some people, you get them, they say they're going to come on and they just back out, so.
Mayo. So to answer your question, I don't mind bringing in odd people, but I think you've got to really think carefully about, who you bring in together. So if you bring in a random person, they have to be with someone really strong as well. So if there are, say, Charles, who's more understated and has less to say, then, it doesn't really matter so much. If you got Blind Mike there or even Mutt, who's, they can at least carry the show.
Yeah, it was. I think he's just. Yeah, Dave is one of these guys. It's hard to buy into.
But Kane, do you get me? Like you just brushed over. Like I poured my heart out at the top of the show, and you're okay. Like you want to be a good interview, engage with it. Like so. What do you think about that philosophically? As I don't know how old you are. As you get older, you got to make a choice about, the time you have left. You're closer to the end to the beginning. It gives you a different perspective and how you want to spend that time.
Okay, so it's a philosophical thing you want to do, but you really haven't committed to coming. So I don't know. I mean,
Well,
if you tell me,
well, how can I? Like, if I had a contract in front of me and a visa, that would be different.
well, if it's philosophical, you're gonna get here. Then you'll work it out when you get here. You're gonna grind.
Yeah, but that's
get on.
that's cool. That's illegal. Like, and the thing is, if you come on one visa, usually you have to leave and then come back again. So you can't just turn up.
Well, I know that. So I mean, I guess that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Is that
I'm
it's
not.
coming. You said you're gonna come here, so you're gonna come here, and then if you have to leave every 6 months,
No. I would come. If I
come
come
go
for the
back.
Amazing Race,
All
and
right.
then that's one thing. But so what I'm saying is there's a lot of water under the bridge to go to actually making this happen. A lot of steps, but on a philosophical point of view, like, do you see what I'm saying about like sucking the marrow out of the last years of my existence?
No, I get it. I mean, I'm close to your age, so I understand. I mean, I feel a lot the same way in a different way. I mean, just different things. It's more of a family kind of thing, but I understand what you're saying. I guess what I'm just saying though, you seem a little wishy-washy on getting here. So I understand, like I understand there's things you got to go through to get here.
What
Yeah, I
do
understand.
you wishy-washy? What does that
Yeah,
mean?
you don't sound that committed. You wrote the tweet. It basically said I've made a decision. I'm coming to the United States
Yes,
in next
yes. I want to
fall.
make it happen. I want to make
All
it
right.
happen. That's it.
So
That's it.
and when you get here, what is the plan? What are you looking to do?
By then, I will. No. I'm not going to like come with a backpack. I'm not 16
No,
or
I know.
18 or whatever. I'm going to, I'm going to start to, work on it. Whether that's however. Look, I'm going to make it happen. That's all I'm going to say.
Where is the coldest place you've lived? Where have you lived? I know you said you lived in
Oh my
Amsterdam,
God.
Australia.
Yeah. Yeah, Amsterdam. I lived through winter there,
Okay.
so that's not quite as cold as northeast of the US.
You think you're gonna miss Australia a lot? I mean, it's a pretty nice place to live in comparison to.
Yeah. I'll
Over
come back
here's not that
eventually.
nice to live. I mean, I
I'll
don't know.
come back eventually. I won't die. Well, maybe. And the way you
So
go out with your
you're
guns,
just
I
gonna
certainly
see
could die. I
you're gonna
certainly could
start
die
over
in the
here and
US.
see where it goes. You may end up at a bunch of different countries throughout the next
I can't see that
15 years.
happening because it's no.
No, it's USA or bust.
That's the next step. I mean, you can't ask me to map out the next 15 years.
Oh, I mean, if somebody says they're coming here in the fall, I figured they had a plan. It doesn't sound like you're completely sold. That's all I'm saying. I mean, Donna Jeweler
Well,
said I need to grow up because you're definitely not coming. I don't know. I don't agree with that. I want to believe it.
yeah.
I'm hoping it's going to work out. I think you'll fit in great as an
I
American.
think Kirk is desperate for me to produce the show. Like, if you gave him truth serum, he would say, like, just get me somebody who knows what they're doing.
He couldn't get you here quick enough for that race. You know what I mean?
Everyone at Barstool sucks. Cullinane's an idiot. Justin's a bit guy. He'd just be like, get me someone like semi-normal, like who has the thought, like who doesn't just go along with every opinion or every, like, it's frustrating.
Did you see that salesperson's take? Think about that. That was interesting. They still hate Kirk over there, huh? It's never going to change, I guess. Not going to. I saw that.
But he brought a point. He made a broader point, and about how it's hard selling for Barstool because they've had a lot of negative press. And the thing I've said to Kirk privately is there's a lot of options for advertisers now. There's a lot of people doing content. This is not just a show for him. This is about Barstool, like, the whole thing. Like, he's trying to sell ads for everybody. Like, obviously there's the brands at Barstool that absolutely kill it. There's the Pardon My Takes, the Spitting Chicklets, the Dave, so they're always going to be sold. But when it comes to the other stuff, there are so many options for brands that if there's a sort of margin between, there's so many other podcasts or shows they can sponsor where there's been no negative articles about ever. And they can just go, oh, well, even though, there's not much between them. This one is safer, and therefore I'm going to do it. So I think you're seeing that a lot. But
I
there
mean,
are
they got
still
loyal
options.
brands at Barstool, though, right? I mean, they got guys. I mean, he has plenty of ads. I mean, it's not like he's short of ads on that show, and I don't really know how that works, but he seems like he, has 3 or 4 ads, two to 3 ads per show. So I mean, it must be selling somewhere, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they're
I
selling
mean,
some for sure.
if you're going to
But
put up
there's
500,000
Milton's is
downloads on a show, I don't understand
mm,
how they can't sell the case. I mean, I know I've heard your point before that it's hard to sell these true crime podcasts and that kind of stuff, but it just seems like they could work hard if you have that many downloads to find some sponsor to sponsor it, right? It doesn't seem that complicated to me, but I don't know. Is it that hard to sell something? They don't look at downloads when they go to.
They could even you can make enough money through those. You know how they insert ads? Like I get all these ads just inserted in KMS sometimes in other podcasts. You can make money, a lot of money on that, on those sort of numbers. So they're just not doing the job.
Okay. So you got some critiques for the show, and that's what I'm here for. I get,
well,
from behind the scenes for you guys that don't know, Manners is a great leader. He's fair. He gives you good feedback. He's on top of you. He's not micromanaging though, which is good. He's got all the good traits. But here, I guess we're on the air, so I know you got some critiques, and that's fine. I put them out there. Nail me, hit me hard. I'm good. I could take it.
Well,
I take criticism well. You have to say I'm coachable.
Yeah, but you got very upset when I told you need to give a bit of context, because sometimes you have these own little bit. You have these own little bits you have in your own head. Like no one cares about whether Mama Kay lives in a nice house or if she's in a nice area. This is just something you're entertained by,
true.
and then you just make these jokes about it that no one gets apart from me, because I'm the only one that like listens to anyway all your shit. So,
good. That's true.
I don't have any critiques at all. It's just, I think we've got to think about what Kane's Corner is.
I know it's tough.
There seems to be a theme running through some Kane's Corners, because some seems to be, some are KMS, and then some seem to be like almost a personal mission of yours to, I know a lot of it comes up with, what happened with your brother, and you want to interview people from your town who, looked after your brother. And I wonder if that's a way of sort of connecting with his memory in a way, which is beautiful,
Maybe I should put that on Facebook on my own page. I can do that too. So maybe I'll just do that.
No, I just think we need to, like, you maybe you want to think about like how you might, because it's going to be very different to when you have Mama Kay on and you talk about KMS.
Sure, I get that.
So people turn it on and they think, oh, Kane's Corner, good, fix a KMS chat. Because remember, there's not many options now. Like John's network is bleeding. It's just dead in the water. Yeah. So actually, you're talking about KMS. That's a really good option for people.
No,
but then you turn it on and it's some guy in Warren and you're talking about stuff, personal stuff, which is beautiful. Like you should do that. You should definitely do that. But maybe you want to brand it differently. Maybe it's a different series. You can still put it on this network. So when people click onto it, they know the difference between Kane's Corner and
No, that makes a lot of sense. No, I agree with that. I understand. I'm struggling to put it together. I agree with you. I really am. So I need that feedback. You know what I mean?
But it seems like you do want to do a show where you talk to people that looked after your brother, and people that, and I don't know the full, but for the listeners out there, your brother had ALS, and how long ago did he pass away?
He passed away in November 19, 2022. I'm sorry, 2022. Yeah.
So it's very recent. It's you're still grieving. You're still probably processing what happened. And I think if you want to show, if you want that to be part of the show, then do a show.
Something that works, though. I think you're right. I think it needs to be a separate thing. That's fine. I think that is the right.
And you can still put it on this network, but I think you should just brand it differently. Kane's Corner, I think, should be about KMS.
Yep, I agree.
I think you should look at interviewing, as many Minifans as you can. Just get people on and talk about KMS. and try and find stories about other Minna fans.
I'm trying to get Don the jeweler on. He still won't come on. You know, he's still running. He's got a lot to say in the chat, but he.
And what was your brother's name? What was your brother's name?
Matt.
Like, if you want to do a series for Matt, do a series for Matt. Like, dedicate it to Matt, and interview people who cared for him and who supported you. It seems like that seems to be part of what you want to do.
Definitely.
And then, and I'm sure actually some Minna fans would really enjoy that.
I hear you. We got to brand it different. Yeah. So I'm going to separate it, and I did understand, like, and that's why I appreciate the feedback, because I'm not, it's not natural for me. So, but it is something that's important to me. It's something I think I need to do. When I started to do this in the first place, it always was in my head we just have a lot of like resentment in the family. There's a lot of issues that need to be worked out. And, it always started with, like, basically I wanted to interview my mother, because it's like me and her I have trouble talking directly. I think this might actually be an avenue where we can work some stuff out. So yeah, maybe it just needs to be a different setting. And I agree with you there.
I would say that podcasting has made me a better communicator in my real life. So actually, if you say you're having trouble communicating with your mum, then this might be a good way of you working on that with her, just on your own, interviewing people.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to do it. So I think that's a better route. And then we try to figure out what Kane's Corner is. And I guess I do enjoy all the Minna fans. I enjoy this part of it. Finding people that kind of obscure. We had the only guy on, and got some feedback.
See, that was good.
Ways. It was fun. I find that to be pretty interesting. And there's other guys out there I've tried to get on, and it's, you know how it is. They just get the cold feet and they back off. But it is what it is. We're gonna keep rolling. We got a good show coming tomorrow. I got a bunch of people coming on for the BAP pre-show, which I'm excited about.
So explain what that is.
Yeah, so we're just, it's been a 2-week wait here for the big BAP episode, and I've seen Mick online. He's kind of starting to go the other way now, where he's being nice to Justin. We don't want that. I want the truth. We want it all out. We want to know what the issues really were. We want it all put out, because Mick talks a big game. So I'm playing on a big show. So I said, hey, why don't we just pre-show it? I got about, I asked Pat Ford. He said he might jump on. John. I got Minifan Dan. I got PRC coming in. Mama K. I got a bunch of people. We're gonna just pop in, give some thoughts, and pretty much just get the show right. Get some buzz for the show. I mean, he doesn't really need our buzz, but hey, we'll give it to him.
Good.
And
great.
He says he's gonna drop it at midnight. So I mean, I'm excited.
It's good. Puts the pressure on him too. Better deliver something.
That's what I told him. I said, I want to make sure the show is coming out. He assures me it is. So yeah, well, it's gonna be fun.
I'm just going back, because you're kind of annoying me that you said it's wishy-washy. My thoughts are coming to the States. Like you probably, how far have you moved in your life? You cunt. So where have you lived? Like, go on.
I lived. Well, I lived in New York.
Okay.
I did some
2 hours
in California.
2 hours on the train. That's great. Okay.
Oh no, I'm not. Listen, I think it's a huge, a big jump for you. But I mean, when you put out that tweet, I thought it was.
So it's like put it out into the universe. Like, if you want something to happen, you've got to sort of, sometimes you got to put it out there. You can't.
Oh, that's a big move.
And it is a big move. It is.
They're very sensitive in
Australia.
It's been
touching. Can I tell you? There's been about 8 Minna fans who've offered me rooms and board, which is scary, because like, how many cameras will the rooms have? Let's be honest.
I'll be watching. It'll be a Truman Show, right? Oh, you're an interesting guy, man. As we want to know all about you. Yeah. I've offered you room and board too. That's all right.
Yeah. No, I'll be on your couch.
So you're gonna come down in the spring for sure, though. That's a guarantee. If they do that show, you're coming.
Yeah. I want to do this amazing race for sure.
Are you joining a team? I know he said you're going to be involved somehow. Have we got the actual your involvement? What you're planning?
No one's had any, because Dave and Justin have done nothing on it. So.
Nothing. Yeah. No ideas. Nothing going on. We're still waiting for that third chair bracket. It's coming any day now.
Yeah. I thought it's pretty bad. Pretty damn bad.
So do you know? He said you want to be involved in it. Have you had any conversation with him at all about what your role would be? Are you going to compete in it? Is that what the idea would be, to compete?
Yeah, I
with
think that's the idea.
Okay.
I hate driving, so
Mm.
whoever I go with will have to do all the driving.
Yeah,
I'd love to do it with Mayo.
Yeah, no, he won't be able to do it though. It's
No,
his wife calls the shots.
just his mental health.
Yeah.
I can't. If he can barely listen to the show, I'm not sure how it'll
Well,
go. But
it gets derailed by Ted Sarandis. That's when you know you've hit rock bottom. So I mean, he couldn't handle it. That he just said he stunk on the air, and he lashed out at him. And I could just like, geez, Jesus, Mayo, you're really taking this stuff too personal. But he is a guy that sat in his car at a live show and never came out. So we know what we're dealing with.
So another thing, I don't know if you noticed, but on Friday, Cullinane had, been on with Nurse Kim all night and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then Freddie Lynn kind of shamed him and said, oh, well, it's a shame. I was looking forward to a producer's show today, but clearly you've been busy with Nurse Kim. And then I don't know if you noticed, but later on, all of a sudden, Cullinane and Justin did a producer's show. Now, do you think we would have got a producer's show without that tweet?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. Good job, Freddie. Finally, you did something interesting. You called him out, and there's no chance that show comes out unless he puts that, because it was a good idea. I mean, do you think they had that? There's no way they had that planned. I think they just like, fuck it, we're gonna do it now before we get called out, And it is what it is.
Oh, absolutely. No. They hadn't even thought about it. Cullinane's off in his own world doing his stuff. Justin's getting ready for the next Pats game, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh yeah, fuck, we should have done a producer's show."
What's your opinion on Justin right now? Do you think he's living up to his potential, or do you think he's just kind of sliding through here?
As I said to you before, and I'll say it for the third time, I think since Cullinane's come back, he's slipped back into being this kind of intern type role. I think he clearly drinks too much when he goes to these Pats games. He gets hammered. He eats too much. He's living a very unhealthy life, and I'm worried about him. And as I said, I think he was better when Coleman was there because they were equals. And I think Cullinane, as I said, I think he just intimidates, which is crazy because Cullinane's so dumb. Shouldn't intimidate anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't mind the producer's show. Like, I thought it was fine. It wasn't a bad listen. It was, and I think in a show week, doing a little half an hour show like that works better, as opposed to when there were no shows for 2 weeks and they did half an hour shows. I think this works fine. But yeah, I'm worried about Justin. He's got to clean himself up.
Yeah, he's the producer tandem right now. It's just, I don't think it's working. I don't know when Kirk's gonna finally lose it, but he's definitely took some shots at Justin lately. He's been kind of hitting them like, I heard him say a couple times you should quit. Obviously he's never gonna go anywhere. But I think he's starting to get. He's mentioned the bits too. He's starting to get like everything's a bit. But I mean, that's who Justin is. If you put him in any other setting, I don't really know. He's that's what he does. I mean, I don't know what else you're really going to get from him other than that stuff, So I don't know.
Oh, I believe in Justin. I just think he needs the right boss, aka me. Look, there's a lot of people in the chat. Thanks for watching the show live. We're sorry it was so late. I mean, people are asking us to react to the chat. Put something in the chat worth reacting to, and we will, you morons. I mean, that's why you're in the chat and we're on the show here. We haven't got anything good out of the chat tonight. But state of KMS content. So you've been talking up the drips, and so they did a show for you on I don't know what it was, Thursday night or Friday night.
Finally.
And I actually tried to sit through it. I got through most of it. It was fine. I don't. They're nice guys. It's hard, they're nice guys. I like them chatting. That's all.
I mean, that's what the show is. So I mean, I don't. I think Pat this week was. I think the medications maybe not clicking right now. He was very low energy. The week before he was on.
Since he took the Zoloft, he's been
the week before, 2 weeks before, he was on fire. He was unbelievable. I was like, oh my god, look at this guy. He's healthy, he's fresh.
Mm.
Came in this
So
week. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think the only thing I'd say is I think the Drips should watch the Unrelated show because I think those two have like real chemistry. Tim and Jackson, like proper chemistry. I think Fat Ford and John try to sort of manufacture the chemistry with their bits, which John says he's a bit guy, so
He is.
that's fine. But Tim and Jackson have real chemistry. But with Pat Ford, I felt sorry for him when he went in earlier this week, and I messaged him about this because of his medication, which he's publicly tweets about at every opportunity. So I don't feel bad talking about it, and I also don't think he should be encouraging others to take antidepressants. Like
That's
I
true.
didn't, his name isn't Dr. Ford.
No, he's not.
As far as I'm
Far from
concerned. So
that.
yeah, so I wouldn't be taking medical advice from him. But anyway, he when he was in the show, he was like a second behind everybody because of his drugs. Like if you go back and listen, he's just, and which is fine. I'm like that normally. Like that would be the way my brain works without Zoloft. So I empathize with him, but it was very funny. Like especially when you listen to the audio, you hear him making comments, and they're just he's just catching up the whole time.
Yeah, he's been a little behind. I didn't know if you knew that he went to a wedding in Colorado. Did you know that? Or like, fuck, you mentioned that like 16 times. I think it's just something going on in that brain. It's just not functioning completely. He's getting. Some of his tweets are getting some big numbers though on those likes. I know that's very important to him. How many likes he gets, So I'm happy for him for that. The inconsistency of the show. I don't know who to blame. I'm going to blame John from Scranton, maybe. I don't know. But if the shows are not coming up consistently, you got to kind of look at leadership. And to be honest, right now that show with Jackson and Tim is probably. Again, I have to give him the top spot right now. Very enjoyable show. They should be on your network.
Our network, Kane. Our network.
Yeah.
The Unrelated show, yeah, that was pretty. They've got proper chemistry. Proper chemistry. Well, now, did you watch Mike and the Minifans on Friday night?
I was gonna ask you, but me and Fax are starting to get back into a decent place. So, I don't know what that show is anymore. I don't know about you, but I want to say I enjoyed it, but I just didn't. I don't know.
Quinlan's watching the TV. Cinema Lords is fine, but fine. The problem is when you've got a host with zero personality, it's just infectious, and this is old school television. Like this is old school. Like the host sets the mood in any show. So, yeah,
I agree.
So, yeah, and he's a nice guy, and he's trying, and he's getting better. There's no doubt he's getting better, and we should all support him. But he didn't have much help on Friday night. I thought Cinema Lords was flat. Not bad, just flat. And Quinlan, it would have been nice if he was paying attention.
Quinlan, every time he goes on, I wish he didn't. I don't know. I don't feel like he's a real fan of the show. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But he almost comes across like he knows he's going on Mike and the Minifans and he watches the shows that week. That's the sense I get from him. So I don't know. Yeah. He's fine. He's just, I just know. I already knew when I saw the lineup that it didn't seem like it was going to work. I hate to say this, and I know BA's not a fan of me, but it's missing somebody like him big time. It's honestly missing the direction that it was in the first place. It's a big fuck up for Kirk. Moving this show over to the other network and doing all this is just a sign of just terrible management, weakness at the top. He took something personal. He got all whatever the fuck. I don't even remember the whole story. What you remember.
And you know what's funny, Kane? They all made fun of me. Like I praised Jo because she was amazing at what she did, and everyone laughed at me. Oh, what does she do? We've seen what she did. Look, it's clear as day how good she was. I appreciated her. Absolutely, I did. But the problem is no one else did. And yeah, I think it's time they just fucking axe it. Like, they may as well just call it quits. Just
I know. It's not.
Put the Unrelated show or something on Friday nights.
It's sad to watch. I mean, I agree with you. I like Fax too. I just don't know if he fits that show. He just doesn't fit it, and it just is what it is. And yeah, it's time to move on. Put the Robbie V show on at 8 on Fridays and call it a day. It shows you what happens when poor leadership gets involved in something they shouldn't be involved in. They should just let you run the network that they were doing. It was running good. I've heard the criticism of people saying, yeah, but as soon as they went, they all ran away from you, managers. But that's not true. Obviously, if Kirk has his network, you're gonna have the ball washers. They're gonna run over there and do that, But it's not run as good with John. It's just not. And I like John. He's going through some problems now. He's letting sneakers control his content, which is very, very sad. Him and BA are fighting. The show's in a mess. But the bottom line is like it's just not. They're really not having any shows that are making any impact. Nobody talks about those shows. It's clear as day that we don't have the volume, but I think we have the content that's definitely more moving the needle than they are over there. That's all.
So I'll react to this. And Marley, like, did Menners just complain people are mean and then call me a moron for supporting his show and being in the chat? That's not true. I just said there was something worth responding to in the chat from those morons. We would respond to it. And this is
Marley a real woman, or
no, of course it's not. It's probably Luke or Sneakers or Don or Red or Ziggy or one of those.
If it was Sneakers, then the tweet would be all fucked up. You guys wrote a tweet that made sense in like 10 years. Every time he writes something, I can't understand anything he says. This girl's actually pretty articulate. So I don't know if it's Sneakers, but I don't know. So
yeah, big mistake taking the network away from me. Yeah, I mean,
wow, so stupid.
No, I mean, Kane, it's your show. It's Kane's Corner. I think I just don't want the takeaway from this to be well, now it will be because I've said it, but I'm serious about what I tweeted out, and I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission from God. The future is bright. The future is bright. The Menners Minifan Network is going to the next level. We've straightened Kane's Corner out, so that's good.
That's good. Yeah, we're good now, and hopefully we can get some other shows. They bail quick.
Actually, we should take listener questions. Right, if you,
sure.
Keith Richards, what is Cully paid annually by Kirk? Over or under 28 grand?
I hope it's more than 28 grand.
Yeah, I think it's around 40, 45.
Yeah,
that would be my guess.
So.
And I gather the arrangement is Kirk's happy for him to do a few other little things on the side, which is fine. But then the onus is on Justin to be better.
Let's go. Some more questions, guys. What do you got? Anything?
Marley, would you marry Mena so he can get a green card? Marley, realized it by mistake. My name showed up completely, but I do have my well, Marley, if you do have a PhD, it'll definitely come up on the Google. Let's have a look.
It's a rarity in here.
So she works at the American Museum. This is a deep fake. This is definitely an AI person.
Yeah, nothing's off. Freddie Wood got anything useful? So I asked Freddie to come on again. You won't believe it. He does the thing now. This is one thing I hate about putting Freddie Wood on shows. He asks like 50 fucking questions. It's like, just come on the show, man. Like I don't need to break down every single piece of what we're gonna do. Just come on the show. He's like, maybe I'll come on, maybe I won't. Then don't.
Oh, yes. Do you want me to take you into the behind the scenes of doing the Minifan top 50 list?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Well, there is a Marley Tavern who's like earned a master's degree in anthropology. Don't know if it's the same one. This would be a study, honestly, if she wants to study human if she wants to study how humans
Marley,
can regress.
He'll be here next fall, baby.
If he wants to study how humans can devolve, then she should just look at the Minifans. Because we've shown how people can go backwards pretty quickly.
We sure have.
So I've got this Minifan top 50 list, and I handpicked.
So Mama K told me you're doing some kind of thing Sunday, right? You guys doing a meeting?
Meeting next week.
Awesome.
to finalize the list, and then we'll do a live review of the show after.
How many
And-
you guys think you're gonna do? Is it gonna be? Think it's gonna be contentious, or you guys feel?
Well, can I just fucking
Go
tell
ahead,
my
I'm
story,
sorry. Go
asshole?
I'll do this to you
I
all
was
the time.
thinking, so, I picked Freddie Lynn because Freddie volunteered, and he's like psycho enough to be across everything, and he's also in on the fringes of Minifandom, which is important. And like yeah, I'm scared of Freddie. Like he's a genuine psychopath.
He
But
is definitely.
he's got that kind of brain. And then I wanted sort of diversity on the panel, and I think Mama Kay has earned the right with her, recent appearances on your shows, and so that's why I thought, well, that'd be good. I think she's the senior woman in the Minifan world at the moment. Lauren Lynn's faded away, and Mama Kay's burns brighter. So I'm all about. Unlike Kirk, I'm not afraid of the opposite sex, and don't need to make fun of everything they do or shit on everything about them all the time. Like so, and then I thought Ned Snark, because he's been around a while, older, so we're sort of hitting that seniors demographic. But he's just turned out to be the most difficult for sure. Like
Yeah, he's tough.
Mama Kay and Freddie, absolutely no problem. Like I'm trying to sort of, I'm not trying to be part of the decision making process. I'm just going to be part of the if there's like decisions that need to be made, or I'm sort of overseeing the operation, but I don't want to be like picking the numbers and the lists. I want to leave it to them. But Ned he's just complaining a lot, being difficult. It's like he needs me to hold his hand through the whole thing. Sort of think we can do most of this stuff remotely now. We don't need, you can do it all. You can work on it sort of in chats. Anyway, I think we've sorted it out. Privately, he was like the only one that sort of had opinions on who should and shouldn't be in the panel. And so yesterday I was very close to throwing him out.
It's your thing. Why would he get to choose who's in the panel? I don't get it.
And to be honest, maybe after this, he's going to hear this, and I'm going to have to throw him out because he'll crack the shits. I don't know. Like, I think we can get through it if he can be mature enough.
Jesus.
But it was frustrating. It was frustrating because I was just like, and I didn't even want to put like a time frame on it. Like, I want to do it in the next few weeks, but there's no deadline. We want to get it out around Kirk's birthday, 50 for 50. So we'll get out around there.
Can we talk about the parameters of the list? Do you have
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're sort of looking at impact on the show, and we've sort of broken up that into actual ways of sort of measuring it. Like, did you work on the did you work for the show? Are you a third chair on the show? All these sort of different things that sort of make up, are you a network presence? You talked about on the show. So all these things that sort of make up. And that was a good way of sort of going in and see who fits the categories. But basically stepping back, it's impact and then who, time of impact. So, even I think since last year, like Steve Robinson's probably, plummeted down the rankings.
Sure. You think Giggs plummeted up the list, or you think he's going to go from 10 to like 5 or 4, or where are we going to have some? Are we going to have some surprises? That's what I'm wondering. Are you guys going to shock the world with a few things that are going to be? Have you guys had any contentious discussions about anybody that's people don't, like you said, Ned? There's people Ned doesn't want on the list. There seems to be
about 60 sort of that everyone agrees on should be in the top 50. So then I guess it's going to come down to, eliminating 10. So that could get quite contentious. And I'm not willing to talk about any specifics about who these people are. I think that unfair, and I would not want to compromise this process. And I will say, just back on the Ned things, I've got real PTSD after what happened last year with Mayo and Tim. And, what is it with these old men and not being able to like do these things? Like, Anyway, so I'm not going to take any chances this time. If Ned even continues down this road, I mean, there are a million Minifans. I'll have no problem removing him. So look, I think that's going to be the tough one, getting the next 10, and then eliminating that 10, and then it's going to get into sort of working out the orders. And I think it'll come down to where it gets contentious is around that top 10, because 20 to 50, I think it's not a huge,
interchangeable. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, but when it gets down to the sort of that top 10, I think there'll be a lot of discussions. And where do you put Coleman? Where do you put Coleman? Because I think he had a huge impact on the show, but it's very short. Steve's faded away, so he probably drift down the order. Cullinane's back.
Well, I got a good kick on it. I knew this was going to happen. We know Kirk like a book, but when Coleman went in for that stream, and then there was rumors, I don't know, I guess truth, that he's passing out his resume all over Barstool. It just it comes back to the point that we've made in the beginning, that Coleman felt like he was fired, and he walked off the show. I mean, he's kind of I don't want to call him a pussy, but it was, there's no, I knew like he wasn't never going to just try to leave the business. And now that he's passing out his resume at Barstool, that's something to pay attention for the next few months and see where that goes, because I saw the first tweets that Kirk put out kind of being playful, but then, you know how he is, and he's just like, oh, it's kind of funny that he's, sending his resume out and all that. So, what do you think about that in general?
And the guy sleeps in on a Saturday morning and he gets raked over the coals. I mean, I think I'm uncommon.
Fired because he didn't fucking go to an amusement park.
I miss Coleman, and so drops. Okay, Kane, where are the drops? There hasn't been a good drop for weeks now. Weeks. So you think about this. So what do the producers have to do? Book third chairs. Kirk, who never says anything, last week had to tell them, oh, dickheads, maybe put some thought into it. And they were like, oh, yeah, maybe we should, Kirk. So what else do they have to do? Actually do the show. So drops are part of the show. They're not doing that. So that's two X's so far.
Yeah.
Third thing, come up with interesting stories. Well, even Kirk by the end of this week was saying,
all done,
making comments about how they're hyper local. Not really. He was just giving them gentle feedback. So we've got 3 X's so far. Where's the positives for this production team?
And I'm telling you, I'm just not getting the right. I mean, why isn't Montante should just be in more? I hate to keep harping on this, but he's just not in enough. They can bring in these other people in that we don't know who they are. Dave is notorious. I just don't think he prepares the show enough. And it's showing. It's apparent. They're both terrible with the stories. They can't get them out. Like I said, they're an hour into the show. They're already, he's already looking at Twitter and seeing what, probably looking at what Sneaks is sending him. It's to me, I don't think this is sustainable. I think it's eventually going to crack. And I don't know why he went back to Dave. I think he said that he needed this to make it. I don't know how the wording.
It's just it's so bad.
You shouldn't get back.
You shouldn't get back with your ex. You shouldn't. Nope. When you fire a producer twice before, you don't get him back for a third time. It's bad for the show as well, because it's just, we've done this before. Like, we've done this before with Dave. Okay. He had 2 years. He failed then. And I actually think he would be good to work on the case alone. I would just say to Dave, just do the case. Let's make the case hit. Don't come in to the KMS anymore. I'll pay you a bit less. Let's do 1 case episode a week. You produce it. I'll record it on it, and let's go. And just cut him free from a show he doesn't care about. And I'm so sick of his boring Boston radio stories.
Brutal.
Like, it's just shocking.
Nobody
and as I said,
it's like, who cares?
It's brutal. And then, other stuff, just nothing. And and you have to say, Justin and Cullinane don't pay a fucking second attention to Minifan content anymore. Like, not at all. Like,
Dave just doesn't give a fuck about the Minifans at all. He does not care. You send him stuff, you try to, he doesn't even engage. He doesn't respond to you. I just think he's just there again. As a fan, I know Kirk's not a fan of the show, so he doesn't think this way. He's not a fan. He doesn't listen to a show. We do. I don't like the idea of a producer having half his fucking ass out on TikTok and dealing with Nurse Kim and not putting that effort into the show. I'm sorry. I'm just not okay with it for as a fan, and it shows. They shouldn't have a halftime producer, a second producer that just puts half the effort in. He doesn't care about it. He doesn't really care about the show. It's unfortunate, but that's the truth, and that's what you're seeing. I don't know. It needs like a guy, strong personality. Maybe a guy from Australia. Get over here in the fall and just get the fuck in there and shake it up.
So Dave did this TikTok video about someone quitting on the police force, and he said, "Oh, I've only had 4 hours sleep because I was up all night with Nurse Kim on her show." And no, I'm serious. This was it was a Montante level sort of crazy video, and talking about how this, I think it was a policeman, was good, really helped out, or when they were doing the case season 2. Just annoying. Okay, so here's Charlie. So well, let's end this. We'll take some questions. Sorry, Marley, we'll get to you. Wow, but you guys are saying this while ignoring the chat. Indeed, provide some something useful, Marley, idiot. Moron. Charlie Griffith, Manners, addicted to drops. Well, okay, we can objectively say that a good drop adds to the show. You don't have to be drop heavy, but we've gone from them being quite a lot to 0.
Yeah. I mean, he's not putting the effort in. That's effort. To me, drops are effort. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to do it, so I don't know. But Dave does. He knows how to do all this stuff. So if you're not doing it, you're not putting the effort in. That's the way I look at it. That's why Coleman was just a better producer than Dave. I hate to say it, but he just was.
Yeah,
he just is.
And actually, it's funny because now that I didn't love all the Barstool stories that Coleman used to sort of shove down our throat, but they were actually more interesting than the Boston radio stories.
Definitely. No question about it. Yeah, a lot more.
And they're probably actually better for the show. Like, I wonder if because one way KMS has grown is bringing in other Barstool people. So, they want to hear Kirk talk about Barstool stories. I'm sure when these randos who, listen to PMT or whatever, if they tune into KMS and they're, Dave's playing audio from EI, they're like, what the fuck? Like, I don't care. And they probably turn off.
Well, now thinking about Barstool, Jeff D'Lo, you guys have a little feud going. I know he's no feud. He reached out. He's trying to rebuild the relationship or nothing. When you come to producer, you feel like that's something that be an issue for you with him because he's been a fan of the year. Seems like you've taken a lot of shots at him. He's come back at you.
By extension, I think we're good mates deep down. And by extension, if I were to work at Barstool, I think I could help Jeff. I could help. I mean, his movie podcast failed. The dozen is but the dozen is declining. He's got to start to, find a few, more strings to his bow, so to speak.
I mean, it wasn't long ago where Dave Portnoy said he was costing the company $100,000. I mean, before he put out the dozen, which is still relying on all those other people to make the show. He does a great job with it. I'm not taking nothing away from music.
I think they went too far, though. I think there's too much of it.
It's a lot
as usual.
It gets a lot of downloads still. I mean, it's not like people are still obviously paying attention.
But even Dave said recently that it's just on a slight decline, and that's why I think they delayed a bit doing the next season.
Sure.
Anyway, I just like to help Jeff. That's all. I'm here for him because he's very good. He's a great.
He is good.
Yeah. And he should actually see. He's someone I would want involved more in KMS, but not just him calling up whenever. Like, get him, fly him in sometimes. Like, why not? You spend money on other shit. Can't be that much. No. So Don the Jeweler, Menace, thoughts on Tony Maz being a racist. So I'm glad you brought this up, Don, actually, because I did want to talk about this. and I can't believe I forgot. I find it disgraceful, and I that Cullinane now is going around trying to cancel people
The fucking snake, huh? I mean, he did
because.
say that's a. How does he not know that word though? It's shocking to me. It really is.
But
I
does
mean,
he
I
not
don't.
realize that if people just went through, a week of KMS, they could snip stuff up
That's
and
true.
get Kirk or Carl, stuff out of context looks very bad. Like you don't want to start throwing stones when you live in glass houses. I'm not going to ever do that, obviously, but it wouldn't be hard to wait for them to drop a little joke about women or gays or whatever, and then put that out and go, oh look, Barstool host makes racist joke. You could easily turn the tables on Cullinane and the show if you wanted to, which is why you just shouldn't start doing this shit.
Yeah, he's living on a fine line because eventually somebody's. I think I heard Visionless Days say this to him on a call one time. It's like, aren't you worried about when the gauntlet goes? It comes after you, and it hasn't really happened yet, but he will fuck up and something's gonna happen. I mean, I just can't
remember when
believe
Dave
Tony
was
said it.
insinuating all gay people are drug addicts?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
I know that could have got turned around on him. He's lucky.
and so
Maybe you
Cullinane
should put
says,
that
that's
out
what.
there and do what he does and give him a little taste of his own medicine.
No,
I mean,
because I can't. I
no?
couldn't. It's not in me. I'm not. Two
Yeah.
two wrongs don't make a right. I'm not going to stoop to his level, but I just think it's like this. This. It's funny because at the beginning of the show when KMS started, it was all about being against cancel culture, and now the excuse Cullinane makes is, oh, this is like a bit, this is like a joke, and we're all laughing at it, and this is what we do. And that's what Kirk says. But you're kind of almost getting people fired now. So, and I know that's a comment on the media cycle, but basically now Cullinane's tagging everyone he can. He's desperate for any attention, and I think the thing is, Zipperhead I never heard that really before.
Really?
So
Wow.
I don't think it's in something that made it to Australia. So
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I guess he could not. I'm just surprised he didn't. But I would say one thing about Tony: he really is a nice guy. Tony's a great guy. Yeah, I worked at a restaurant. He used to come in all the time, and he was just the nicest guy. And I'm like, Dave is kind of going on he's going in a little bit of a weird place. I don't know. I understand, like, if you say it, you're doing it for consistency, all the excuses they make. But Tony is really a good guy, so it's kind of, I don't know. I wouldn't do it to Tony. I like Tony.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I really like Maz. I like his.
He's a good guy.
I used to like the Baseball Reporter show. I don't listen to Felger and Maz, but he's a good guy, and I just think it's very distasteful. And I'm like, what is Kirk doing? Like, why does he just not like? It's now gone too far. It's gone too far. And look, I don't know if saying the word zipperhead is that bad. Like, I don't know, because I said it's not a term I think that made it down under. I'd never heard it before. So I can't comment on how bad it is. Like, I guess it's not like saying the N word or something like that.
No. It's on the level of like Greenhorn, I took a lot of slack for Greenhorn, but it's kind of like that. It's not really as known. I don't know. It's
Marley,
definitely. Molly's kind of turned into an asshole, huh?
Hey, just let her talk. Like all broads, they like to run their mouth. Anyway, Marley, Manners, what do you think of Ohio's take coming after Kirk and Dave? And remember, so Marley, good question. Thank you. I am not a huge Barstool guy, so I'm not really into Ohio's take and his feuds, but he's kind of pathetic. Like, Dave and Kirk could just walk all over this guy if they wanted to. Like, they are letting him breathe. Like, any minute they could just run him over like a steam train and he'd be dead and buried.
I will say, though, blowing the horn in his ear was a fucking dickhead move by Clemmer. Like, that's bullshit, If his ear was all really that. No, you see, blew it right in his ear. And if his ear, like, he had to go to the emergency room for it and stuff, I guess, get checked out and all that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just a fucking, it's just an asshole move.
Like I've been watching the baseball playoffs,
Mhm.
but I have no thoughts around watch. Like I don't want to watch um, I don't want to watch
The
them at
streams.
all. No.
No, it does nothing for me because to me it almost feels. I'm sorry, it just doesn't feel authentic either. I don't think anybody cares that much about sports. I just don't. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it just seems sometimes that they're just doing it for the camera. It does nothing for me. But I don't know. I don't know how you fucking root for the Yankees anyway. Fuck them. That's just.
Well, Marley's really into this. Yeah, he should. Yeah, but my thought is that he constantly is trying to go up the line and then cries if someone goes over, which Davis always says he hates. Yeah, I agree. I just can't play with the big boys. That's for sure. Where were you on the Unnamed show, by the way?
In general,
Yeah. No.
I think it's had some good episodes. It's had some duds. I listen every week. I don't think it's. I just don't think it's at its full potential. I think you have three guys that are awesome, and I don't think it's lived up to that name. They've had definitely some really good episodes, but I don't think. Again, I hate to do this, but it's just another show where I don't think anybody's truly prepared for. I just think it's slapped together at the end, and I mean it's fine. It's a fine show, but I mean you got Kirk on there, a superstar. You got Dave Portnoy, a superstar, and Whitney's great, and it just doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's as good as it should be. I guess that would be my take.
Well, they could get the audio right. That would be good. I mean, I was listening
there's
the
always
other day
some
as a
problem.
podcast. I couldn't hear Whitney when I was out walking. I had to turn it off because it's different. No, it's different when you release it as an audio thing.
Sure.
As like online, actually, when you're live, it equalizes all the audio, and then when you then turn it into audio, it can be not as equalized. So I just couldn't hear Whitney. So I think that's like, I mean, if you got that many downloads, like at least equalize the audio.
That's the point. It's going crazy, right? They get tons of downloads for the show. So
I think it's getting better. Like I think that in the last, I mean, they've done like 30 shows now. I think it took them actually 10 or 15 to even get going, which kind of makes sense because those three are really good, but they still need to sort of work out how to fit together.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah, I agree.
So I think in the last sort of, I think it's been much consistently better. Like the last 10 shows have all been pretty good. But I agree with like Mikey Grab Bags. Like Whitney is a great personality, but clearly put zero effort into it.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
he would not be missed at all. Like he just comes in, comments on what the other two says, and then goes. Like very good point, Mikey.
Mikey had a good day on Twitter. This guy's good. I mean that last thing, that last song or musical, whatever he put out.
They need a neutral. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I just don't. It's always a fine line. We start using that AI, and it's showing now that it's kind of taken away from the parody songs. Fuck this up, Mikey. I knew it was going to happen. Now we haven't had. I mean, where is Steve? We haven't heard from him in a long time. I haven't gotten a really good song in a while. So,
well, there's probably like 15 really good songs sitting in Cullinane's inbox. Right? Let's be honest. True. That he just hasn't looked at.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hostage take Curtis. They need a neutral host. Look, I think that this would be actually a good place for me to start. I mean, I should probably host the Unnamed show. That would be
great at that. Absolutely awesome at that.
Yeah, just and Kirk can just relax, sit back. He doesn't want to host. All right, well, I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah,
Kane, unless you got any more questions. I know it's getting late where you are. Sorry for the delay, folks.
You're not wishy-washy. You don't know where you stand exactly, but you're gonna do your best to get here next fall, and possibly
could be before that, could be after that.
Okay,
I'll definitely need to come beforehand.
Exciting news. I mean, all around for the Minute fans. I mean, you must have got tons and tons of love letters about this, right? Just great mail, great, DMs.
It was pretty split, there was, there's, I think there's some people that have already, there's some people that have already, called the authorities, I think, and notified them that I'm coming. And then there was, as I said, at least 10 people have offered to house me. What have you done?
Sorry, I'm good. So
Yeah.
plugged quick.
Yeah, at
Yeah,
least-
so they called the authorities.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, 10. I think, and then a lot of people have offered me to stay there. So
Okay, well, so most likely the next time we'd see you is if they're gonna do this Minifan across the country thing.
well, you'll see me on the network before then.
Well, I know that. I'm talking about in person. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. I'm not coming till next year. I want to come for sure. What about so while we're here, what's coming up for you on the networks? What are you producing?
We have that show, the Mick pre-show.
Yeah.
And we'll do probably a 3 Up 3 Down sometime either Monday or Tuesday. And then I have working on a couple Minifans to get on for Kane's Corner. So I got a few people committed. We'll see if they could show up this week, but that'll be it pretty much. But next week will
Great.
be on 3 shows.
Nice
2 or
one.
3.
All right.
How about yourself?
I'm not sure when the next Menace Live is, but
Aussie Minifan show coming?
well, I have booked a guest for the next Menace Live, so that's pretty. Yeah, he's a pretty good get. His name's Kirk Minahan, so he'll be coming on the next Menace Live. So just got to
Nice.
set the date for that. And yes, an Aussie Minifan show as soon as possible. In between train schedules and Jackson dislocating his knee and recording with Tim Smith. We'll get there. But thanks everybody it's your show, sorry.
We're going to let you go. Thank you, Manners. Great job. Thank you for clearing everything up. I feel confident that we've answered every question. We know where we are. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to all of Kirk's fans for watching. And we're going to sign off. Good night.